Your enthusiasm for each set that you go along and you dress is the one that, keeps you going all the time. You just get so excited about dressing
Yeah.
each set. I used to just do it all and wouldn't let anybody touch anything and just do all the sets. I don't know how I managed to do that, but now I have slightly let go of the reins.
Welcome to Inside the Set with Set Decor, a series that focuses on the design and decor of the stories that excite us and ignite our imagination, where we discuss the collaboration between set decorators and production designers and hear first-hand accounts of how these works of art came to be, from their inception, ideas on a page, to completion, when we get to sit in the dark and experience them collectively.
Welcome to Inside the Set with Set Decor. I'm Andrew Baseman, SDSA, and today I'm excited to be joined by set decorator Barbra Herman-Skelding and production designer Tom Burton to talk about their extraordinary creative partnership on Young Sherlock, Prime Video's bold and stylish reimagining of the legendary detective through the lens of Guy Ritchie. Blending mystery, adventure, and richly detailed world building, the series brings a fresh, energetic take on Sherlock Holmes' early years, and Barbra and Tom played a huge role in crafting that visually immersive experience. Barbra, Tom, thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome. Nice to meet you.
I love period movies and series, and clearly you do too.
Yeah.
Your work is so richly detailed that I not only enjoyed watching the series, but also enjoyed peeking behind the actors to get a glimpse of some of the beautiful details behind them. To start, can each of you briefly introduce your role on Young Sherlock and what initially drew you to the project?
Well, I'm a production designer and I was brought onto the project by Matthew Parkhill and the producer Colin Wilson. Funnily enough, I'd worked with Matthew Parkhill sort of 20 years ago. It was both his first film and my first film. So we had a kind of nice history there. But they'd seen, or Colin had seen, another show that we designed and he'd seen the sets for it. And so he kind of had suggested me back to Matthew, and Matthew went, "Oh yeah, I remember him." And we kind of tried to work together a couple of times, and then this time it all worked out. And Barb and I have worked for a long time
together. We've worked together for over 25 years together, on and off, more on of late, which has been fun because I find now the projects run for so much longer. They're like almost like a proper job in that they're like 8 months, 9 months, whereas, you used to be much quicker when you were doing films. So there is a shorthand and a history that makes it easier to work together.
Yes, that's very
true.
That's
wonderful. And I assume you like each other?
Yes. Well,
yeah.
We wouldn't have lasted this long if we didn't.
And do you get to bring assistants and other crew members that you've worked with in the past?
Yeah. I mean, we've kind of got a whole team that we've sort of on and off have worked with, various art directors, kind of supervisors, and a lot of the crew that we worked with on season 1 are also working on season 2. So that's
really great. So there's lots of shorthand, I imagine, between the two of you.
Yeah. Definitely.
They're our work family.
Yes, that's true. This show is so fast in terms of the amount of sets you've got to decorate. And you need to be able to kind of spread the load, and that it really helps that everybody knows sort of what we like. And so there's a really good shorthand for that it's sort of, it just makes it, yes, you're not explaining yourself in kind of huge detail because you can go, oh, a bit like what we did there.
The reference sometimes goes back a few years and he expects me to just pick up immediately on it, which doesn't take too long usually. It's just a couple of lines. I'll go, oh yeah, I remember that. Wasn't when.
Well, it's helpful to have a good memory.
Yeah, you do. Bob has an amazing memory for like, oh, that lamp that we used in so-and-so. And Bob goes, oh yeah, of course I know.
That's good. I have a question for Barbra. It's pretty general, but how did you work with Tom and the rest of the creative team to layer detail and personality into each environment?
I work quite organically, and what I tend to do is go out and kind of recce the prop houses. Obviously, Tom shows me references of his mood and feel, And then I start bringing stuff back and showing him, and then it kind of becomes more and more refined. And then I'm just off and running, and then I tend to just kind of cut back in occasionally and say, is this good? You know, is this where I'm going right direction? So yeah, it works perfectly like that, I think.
And it also, yeah, because we've worked together for so long, you know, Barbra will show me the kind of big pieces and then kind of the mood, and then I just let her get on with it. Most of the time.
Well, it's nice to have the freedom and the trust.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, you've got to, I mean, that makes such a difference.
How did you approach building the world of young Sherlock while still making it fresh and distinct from previous Sherlock adaptations? Because there have been so many movies and other series.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it was always going to be like a fun show. I mean, we sort of took historical correctness, if you want to say that. Well, it wasn't really a style, but it was always going to be a fun show, and it was always kind of had a sort of young, obviously, protagonist. So then obviously there was Guy Ritchie's movies that were a sort of jumping off point, or, you know, where we started from. But then this became quite a different thing. And I suppose you're always looking for kind of things that artists can play with, and you're always kind of looking for movement, I suppose, was another big thing, that they're constantly running through things and it's discovering new things all the time. So I suppose those were the sort of initial jumping off points. But we'd also done a lot of period shows, so we also had a great knowledge of that sort of era to start with, which really helped. And then I guess we knew we were going to have to shoot in Oxford, because Oxford is Oxford. You can't really fake it and try and shoot it somewhere else. So that was always the starting point for that bit of the world. Once we'd got our Oxford college that we liked, that gave me a chance to then work out, okay, so them sort of matching exteriors to interior sets. And I mean, we did take liberties in terms of Oxford colleges don't actually have corridors, for example, because they're all individual staircases that go up to 2 rooms. So you get a staircase every however many feet. But for the story, we needed corridors because they're running down these corridors and discovering things. So we took liberties with the architecture of an Oxford college, but we matched all the windows, we kind of matched the quad, and
we rebuilt the library.
We did rebuild the library as well. So we used the Bodleian library, which is quite an amazing, I think it's like 1400s and onwards library. But obviously you can't climb on the bookcases. So
we improved it. We improved the Bodleian library.
Of 1400s library. So we had to have a cut point in which we were going into the set. In fact, we had to copy. We ended up vac-forming all our books.
I was going to ask you about the books, where you found so many.
We had to vac-form historical books. Then we stuck those books into the Bodleian library that gave us our match. And then we took those back to our set.
And also they couldn't close the library. It has to remain open all the time. So you could have somebody wandering in looking for a certain book. So we always had to be slightly mindful that we didn't actually completely hide everything.
And they would grab a vacuum book by mistake and not understand what that was.
They were all slightly different. We had to measure them all, make all the book backs, stick those book backs in front or place them, because you couldn't really stick anything to, you know, incredible old books.
Of course.
That was quite a number, but actually it's pretty seamless. You kind of don't really know which bits of the set and which bits of the library. And obviously the bit where they're kind of climbing out of the window and breaking in, and then obviously kind of finding their secret corridors and everything's all on the set. But yeah, that was quite a tricky match. One of the things on this show that we did quite a bit of.
We reused the room, didn't we, sometimes?
Yeah, we did do a fair bit of revamping. In fact, this one's part of the set, which is one of the professors' rooms.
There was 4 different professors, and so it was making them all of their particular studies. At the time, it was quite complicated.
So many kind of sets you're basically in and out of. The construction guys in Wales, in Cardiff, which is where we were based, did an amazing job building the set. So these college rooms later became a room in the Foreign Office. So we ripped out kind of various walls and revamped that interior to be a kind of room in the Foreign Office.
Well, blended so seamlessly, and you gave each of the offices their own distinct personality. So it looked wonderful together.
This was Colin Firth's office. He was the head of the college, and he's sort of a bit of a classic Victorian
Baddie.
Well, he wasn't baddie. Yes, he was actually.
He was. I gave him a tiger rug. What can I say?
Yeah, and an elephant.
Oh, and he's got the elephant foot table. I hope that was a fake.
I think it was fake.
Yeah, no, I think it is fake.
No animal was harmed in making this movie.
No, not at all. No.
This was an internal corridor there behind that you can see there. That was actually of those stained glass windows we found in a reclamation yard. So we sort of built them into the set. Wales is very good for all that sort of churchy reclamation. Lots of old chapels that get kind of revamped. So there's a good source of nice bits of reclamation.
I mean, we're very blessed in Britain, well, especially London, with the prop houses. I think I would say the best in the world. I've worked in various other countries, and it does make my life so much easier. I mean, they are fantastic.
Especially for period shows like this.
Well, for Victorian, I would imagine there's a wealth of furniture and furnishings there.
Yeah, no, there's plenty.
Yeah.
And actually, period wallpaper as well. That's all. A lot of that was Watts wallpaper, which is kind of the original Watts wallpaper that you can still get.
So you're not reprinting it; you're getting the actual wallpaper.
That was Watts wallpaper that you can still buy. The original prints from 1860, 1850.
I mean, a lot of the House of Commons has got Watts's wallpapers in it.
Yeah.
So they've got, you've got all those backgrounds of period wallpapers, which makes it look real.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful.
Thank you. This was Moriarty's room, which later on got revamped into somebody else's bedroom. He's a student, but he's a sort of poorer student. So we gave him something that wasn't too fancy.
Yeah, I like how it's sparse. It's a nice juxtaposition from the other more layered ones.
Your eye needs to rest sometimes. I think if it's always so full on, somehow your brain doesn't keep taking it in. And it's just nice developing characters and thinking how they arrived, because he was, a bursary student. He wouldn't have had much money. He wouldn't have had a proper room in the way that the other students would have had. So it's nice making him look almost like staff.
Yeah. I like the details of the bowl and pitcher set and the towel stand. I think most young people wouldn't even know what that is today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Barb's very good. The queen of fabric. Barb's incredibly good at her kind of period towels and sheets, curtains, all that sort of thing. It's like...
That's typically hard to find.
Yeah, it is. This was another set underneath the theatre. That was a set that they hide out in later on, which gives them a good excuse for lots of sort of costume foolery, and it's a good spot to hide out. And later on, we revamped that into sort of various prison sets. So that was another sort of classic Victorian brick arched under the floorboards of the theatre. That was a really nice one to do as well. Bob found I don't know if they've found an amazing horse. And where was that horse from?
It was from the Opera House,
Right.
actually. I think that's the fun bit of my job, is kind of wheedling out all those unusual props. And you're always reliant on, the people on the ground who like had an assistant who lived in Cardiff. So it's always that fun bit of the job, is just finding things. I'd almost like go on holiday and do that.
Well, apropos of the series, it's like detective work, just finding all these pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really good.
Janny Temain did an amazing job, the costume designer. I think she got one meeting with Guy Ritchie and sort of got the gist of it instantly. She's kind of amazing. So that was really nice to work with her.
And what was your relationship with her?
We kind of showed each other everything. So she would come and I would see her costume designs. I would always show kind of wallpaper and kind of color palettes for all that sort of stuff. So yeah, we're very good at kind of keeping in touch with each other. So she's a cool person. We like her.
Barbara, I have a general question for you. Every photo we've seen has lighting. And what were the challenges you faced with lighting the sets with non-electric lighting?
Right, yeah, this is where you have with the DOP, because, we're pre-electricity.
Oil lamps, gaslight.
Yeah. But obviously that's not going to be strong enough for the, DOP, etc. And then when you're in period buildings, you're just not allowed to have, naked flames. So, but we always manage to find the perfect lamps, I think. Yeah, it's great.
I mean,
I know a lot about pre-electric. In fact, I'd quite like to go back to that time. It was so much simpler.
It was very flattering on people's faces.
a lot of the oil lamps were kind of turned into electric. So, there was a lot of research into kind of flickering LED bulbs versus non-flickerings, and kind of wrapping LED lights in bandages to make them look like gas mantles. So you get used to all those tricks, which kind of, together with the DOP. But we had previously done another Victorian show. We'd done all of that once, but every DOP wants something slightly different. You always kind of have to go through the sort of process of what they like and what they want, and you find the right thing, and then you put them into everything. I think sort of seems to be the way through. Of course, everything wants to be on dimmers now. So, that's the thing, isn't it? Now there's so much less like film lighting, because the camera, digital stock's so much more responsive to light. You don't have to have 10Ks over the tops of your sets kind of blasting everything anymore, which is...
No, it's rare. Set Deck lights the sets now.
Yeah.
And it's just a constant conversation between gaffers and the DPs to tell us what source they want. Hopefully not specifically say, I want this lamp, but give us an idea with the source, and then we show them the lamp and then have the lamp rebuilt. It's a lot of back and forth, but clearly you were really successful in the amount of lighting. You had candle lights, you had torches, you had gas, you had so many sources, but it all, provided a beautiful glow, and really told the period nicely.
A lot of places would allow candles, but quite a few of the Oxford locations wouldn't. But actually, they did let us put candles in the church, which looked amazing.
And Barbara, did you have to have quite a bit of lamps manufactured?
No. Again, we're very blessed. We've got a particular prop house that just does lighting, Newmans, that have been going for, I don't know, 30, 40, 50 years, most probably. But they rewire things for us. They have a workshop. So we are very lucky.
We always have practical sparks with us as well. So between the lighting department and the practical sparks department, there's usually a couple of them. They're the ones that, if Barb finds lamps in kind of antiques places that need rewiring, then our practical sparks department rewire them all.
Oh, that's great.
Together with the gaffers.
Mm-hmm. So they are slightly horrified sometimes when I come back from markets and ask if they can make it live. They do roll their eyes, but
they come through, I'm sure.
They do, yes, they do. As we all know, it's such a team, isn't it? And everybody wants it to work. So, yeah. It's maybe that sometimes it's the lead times that are more problematic than anything.
Do it. We need it in an hour.
In the United States, we have framers who have signs on the window saying 1 hour framing. And some of them who work in our industry, I'll bring them something and I'll say, need this overnight. And they'll just laugh at me. And I'll say, you do know your sign says 1 hour framing. I'm giving you an entire day. So.
Yeah, we're pretty lucky with most things. I don't know about 1 hour framing.
Yeah.
I don't think they'd be horrified if we sent them that. I mean, we tend...
Well, clearly they don't mean it, but they do things quickly. I'm glad you have sources there that can turn over things pretty quickly too.
Yeah.
Jumping ahead, Barbara, there was an elaborate market in episode 7 that I believe you shot in Constantinople.
We shot it in Jerez, and it was supposed to be Constantinople.
Okay, well, you fooled me.
It is with my other set decorator, Graham Ward. We have a kind of slight divide in that I say he does like rusty metal and bits of wood, and I do fabrics. It's not quite that.
No, that's a bit basic.
So Graham did a lot of the market, like sourcing, and then I came in at last minute because, of course, I'm always dressing up ahead.
This was Jerez. So in Jerez, the Moors were in Spain for 700 years or something. So this was a sort of Moorish palace. So it gave us kind of really nice shapes for Istanbul. So that sort of Ottoman sort of feel, which kind of Moorish and Ottoman, obviously there's a sort of similarity there. So that's why we ended up there, which was, I mean, it was a really lovely location to set deck. We had the kind of big market scenes, then there were gardens off the markets that were great. And then we had sort of a tea house come bar, which was also part of the same set. So it was really nice. In fact, I think there's a little clip where the kids are running all the way through the market and all of that was kind of shot for real. So the south of Spain did us very well for Istanbul, Constantinople.
Barbara, where did you source all these pieces? I mean, you need multiples and stalls full of period items.
Well, most of those are makes, so you can make them up in advance, and then you've just got all hands on deck dressing with something like that, because you never have enough prep time. Locations never quite give you enough time to get in there because it is very layered.
I think we had, what, 4 days?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Well, I was going to ask how long you had. 4 days. That's remarkable.
4 or maybe 5, I can't remember. But
Yeah.
the nice thing about it is because it was contained, we could shut it and the public weren't walking through it. We have a prop master as well who has connections to Morocco, and Jim Grinley, and he sourced a lot of our carpets. We basically did a big shop in Morocco, kind of a digital shop. Jim was kind of sending us lots of photos of various carpets, but we got hundreds of carpets from Morocco,
Yeah.
which
We have worked in Morocco before, so it's all those connections that you find over the years that you can kind of phone up and you can kind of, call in favors or just call in and get somebody doing, prep for you. It's that's the fun bit of our job. I'm sure you find that as well, that it's knowledge just built on knowledge all the time.
Right.
You may be in a different period, but somehow you know what the process is going to be in order to get things done.
things were sourced in Morocco. We got quite a bit of our fabrics were from India, weren't they, as well?
Yeah.
So all our kind of
Yeah.
oiled cottons and things. We had a Spanish team as well that were kind of sourcing stuff in Spain. So between all those three places, we kind of
Pulled Istanbul
together.
Well, I'd be happy to go shopping there myself.
Yeah.
Great job.
No, it was a really fun one to dress, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And Barbara, how many assistants and buyers do you have? And do you divide them up into teams? So while you were doing one, you're leapfrogging over the others?
That's where Graham comes in handy. We've worked together again for mostly about 15 years. I used to just do it all and wouldn't let anybody touch anything and just do all the sets. I don't know how I managed to do that, but now I have slightly let go of the reins. Graham will work on one set. We'll divide the sets up, and there'll be lots of chat, obviously, of how we both see it, and we're going to move forward with it all. I usually have like one assistant with me all the time. I mean, obviously, when you work in abroad, I don't speak Italian, so you're always having to have somebody with you to do that. I do like the fun normally of just going off by myself, because I think when you look at something, it kind of spurs you to think of something else, and it will suddenly take you down a different route. A lot of people now just do things sitting looking at eBay or whatever, and they're just doing it all online. I'm not somebody who's ever been able to work like that. I always have to go and see what the pattern is on the table, or whether that wood is going to work with something else. I can't visualize things just from a photograph. I need to be able to go and see it. You just get so excited about dressing each set, and you have enthusiasm for each set that comes along. So, sometimes, as you've kind of got long drives, and you've got 12-hour days. So your enthusiasm for each set that you go along and you dress is the one that, keeps you going all the time. It does me anyway. It's like being given lots of money to build the most elaborate dens if you had been a child.
It is fun to go spend other people's money.
Yeah.
And I agree with you as far as going out into the world and finding things rather than online. Because sometimes you'll be looking for the perfect sofa or a candlestick, and then you'll turn the corner and see something that you had never thought of, and you bring it back and show the designer, and then that becomes like the centerpiece of the room, or a color concept. It's just, I can't stress it enough to go out as often as possible.
Yeah. And I think sometimes you just pick up one item that speaks to you about a certain character.
But yeah, no, Barb comes up with things that I would never have thought of. So that's always fantastic.
Well, it sounds like a great collaboration in that regard.
Yeah, no, we have. We've been at it for a long time.
Mhm.
We know what we're doing, sort of now.
Yeah, we have a little arm wrestle occasionally, but
Yeah.
Hopefully you each win a different map.
When we start arguing, then all the assistants like run away.
Yeah,
Because
they're quietly frightened. Oh my God, they're having an argument. Mom and Dad are having...
Mommy and Daddy are fighting. We're scared.
yeah.
Hope you hug it out afterwards.
Yeah, it's fine.
Tom, here's a general question for you. Can you talk about designing environments that reflect Sherlock's perspective and intelligence at such a young age?
I suppose it's about his perception. So again, it's going into that very layered world. He would always be able to see something that initially nobody else would have seen. So I suppose that was the sort of Sherlock point of view. And then, of course, there's like little details that give them the clues and everything. But I suppose it was giving the sets enough interest and enough depth and kind of layered quality that you sort of think, oh, what is he going to see next? That was sort of one element of it.
And also, he starts out as a bad boy in this series. Other series, when he's more mature, his interiors are different. His demeanor is obviously different, but it must have been fun to show the young rebel.
Yeah, no, it was fun. I mean, it was nice. We did his sort of childhood room in the house. That was a set. His sort of attic bedroom. So that was a really nice one to do.
Yeah, that was really fun. Yeah.
And in his room in the college, which obviously was like a kind of upstairs kind of servant's room because he's only a scout. The idea was that he'd sort of pilfered things at the beginning. He was stealing bits and pieces. So that was nice. Just kind of what would he have stolen to put in his room? I mean, that's very Guy Ritchie. That sort of young energy is very sort of kind of Guy Ritchie show.
Mm-hmm.
The sort of pace of everything, the speed of everything, the kind of the pace of the cutting. You're always trying to make things look cohesive on a sort of big scale, but individually, the spaces that they go through, you kind of want enough variation within those spaces. Like you don't want too many rooms that look the same.
Mm-hmm.
That's the challenge, but it's also the sort of exciting thing about a show like this, where your schedule is like set on one day. Mm-hmm. And you're like, okay, how can I get those 3 sets in this space where the unit doesn't have to move to 3 different places?
The spontaneity really helps it because it is 2026 and Guy Ritchie, and to do a Victorian show like that, rather than make it look like a museum piece, you're bringing a lot of life and vitality and more contemporary feeling without making it look too new. You're just bringing a different angle to it, which I think is exciting for the viewer.
We took a few liberties, but
for me, it's like I'm being kind of slightly slavish, kind of trying to keep period lighting and doing that. And then they have a listening device. I'm going, they don't have listening devices. We didn't have electricity. How's this going to work? But then, you just have to let go at certain points. I'm sure that, that's always what happens, is that maybe the director's seen something in a museum,
Right.
but, not everybody had them. This is like a special piece, but anyway, you just have to fight the right battles, I suppose, choose which ones you feel are right.
We're not making a documentary about 1870, so you can kind of have a bit of fun with it.
Yeah, this would be more fun than that, I would think.
Yeah, no, it was fun.
I have a question for Barbara. Were there any specific historical references or research materials that became especially useful during the process? Did the DP show you any images that they wanted you to follow, or as a jumping off point?
No, I mean, Tom does come up with reference, but often for me, it could be like an oil painting. And sometimes it's just the colours in it that make me feel that this is the route to go down.
I tend to do a lot of research, or quite a lot of research, and then take little bits and pieces from all of it. Then obviously I'll share that with Barb.
We have such amazing galleries in London that I'll just go and immerse myself, in them. And you just kind of pick up the mood and the feel. It's not usually just one particular thing. It's collectively you feel that is the direction of travel for certain characters.
when you're looking at Victorian stuff, you end up looking at a lot of early photos. So you keep having to remind yourself by looking at paintings and prints and all that sort of thing that actually
Colour.
There was colour in Victorian England. It wasn't all black and white.
Right.
I found old Victorian colour cards for paint
Oh,
as well. Also going to the V&A, which is great museum, or I sent one of my art directors to the V&A museum because Magdalen College, which was the college we used, had the plans of the college that somebody had kind of done an incredible sort of job of like drawing the college plans in 1870. So I had the original college plans from 1870 from the V&A. So one of my art directors went and photographed them all. So that was kind of a really good sort of starting off point.
Here's a question for Barbara. Again, a bit general, but we can talk more specifics. Can you talk about the importance of texture, objects, and lived-in details in help defining character and story?
I like things that are unusual, so that even though they may not be scripted, that you can dress them in, and it may spur some kind of spark when directors see things. It's like here at the moment, I've just booked a table and it's got these monsters on the bottom of the legs. They're not wanting monsters, but if they did, they've got them. Obviously, it's always about the character.
Silas's room, like you put so many little bits that were amazing, little clues into like the fact, I mean, it's spoiler alert that the father is the bad guy.
Yeah.
Sherlock's father is the bad guy, and his sort of study in their family house had so many like little bits of kind of touches of evil that you kind of would hardly notice.
And what's so interesting is that people don't realize these details, for the most part, aren't scripted.
No.
So it's up to us to come up with backstory, with all these details that tell the character. I mean, sometimes you do get a writer, a showrunner who gets very specific, and I think it's fun to follow those leads, but it's also up to us to really bring all that and then show them, and then have that become sometimes part of the writing, but at least it's seen and helps tell the character.
I suppose the same thing happened with our Chinese village. There was just a few shots of Ziping's Chinese village.
Yeah.
We were like, how are we going to do this? Second block director went, can we do something on the sort of Brecon Beacons? Because he wanted that sort of expansive feel. And I was like, okay, yeah, we can do a yurt village.
All the yurts were dressed inside, but we never went in. But they were fully dressed, which is kind of sad when you spend a lot of time like dressed and then they don't even... It's like, could you not just peek the camera through? Could you not just have somebody just walking through, just so you get...
saw a little bit in one. That's the kind of fun of these kind of shows which have episodic shows. Is if you're shooting this 7 and 8 at the end, you've got enough time to sort of develop things. Like in the scripts, they didn't end up in a mine, but I found that location of a mine and thought this was a really great location. And so Matthew sort of wrote the script to fit the mine. This was in the Rio Tinto mines in Puebla, and this was an old 19th century mine that we dressed. The interior was built in the studios in Wales, and then this exterior was the Baddies mine, where they're making the creeping death, which was the sort of poison. Originally, we kind of had a plan to add a lot more digitally, but it worked brilliantly kind of with what we dressed. This all blows up at the end of the show. The actual kind of explosion takes place sort of inside. That was an amazing location. It was very sort of Indiana Jones, which was my idea at the beginning, which was basically because of me Googling the Andalusian film board once we kind of thought we might be in the south of Spain. That worked very, very well. That was our mine at the end.
Is there a particular set or sequence that you're both especially proud of? I mean, I don't know how you would choose. There have been so many, but just like the most fun or interesting or challenging.
The Parisian stuff was fun because it was a challenge that originally we were going to be in Barcelona, and then I kind of had to go and scout on my own with just basically me going, let's make this work in the south of Spain. So that was kind of fun that all worked. And then from a kind of construction point of view, the sets that we did, the kind of cave interiors that were at the end of the show that end up all kind of blowing up, which was a revamped version of the kind of Parisian catacombs. I was really impressed with, well, it was Kartik, one of our art directors, who did a brilliant job of kind of reconfiguring these various kind of cave-like spaces. I kind of knew that we'd be fine, but we needed like 5 different spaces out of one space. That kind of worked really well. And that originally there was kind of plans to do big digital extensions to make them all seem a lot bigger, but actually we didn't do that in the end. So
I liked young Sherlock's bedroom because that was such fun, because you could go from being a childhood and kind of telling his backstory to such a lot of degree. You could just really fill it with lots of detail. So that was really lovely.
We put that huge thing in the attic.
Yeah, that was wrong, but we did it anyway.
That's what I wanted.
That's the problem. If I show Tom something and I go, yeah, but that's not what I'm showing you. It's just in the... right, okay, we're going to have to do it.
No, there was a sort of...
Da Vinci.
Like Da Vinci's kind of flying machine. So I thought that'd be really funny if that was sort of... I think you didn't really catch it. We put it in the eaves.
Well, I know you're both working hard on season 2. Can you reveal any juicy details about new sets we can look forward to seeing?
We've got a different house which they're living at in Istanbul,
which is the villa, which is my next big set, is kind of fantastic.
Probably shouldn't say all of this, I don't know, but we've got lots of kind of good chase sequences through the streets of Istanbul. We've got various train journeys. And this one sort of starts sort of out and about. We've got nice parades through Istanbul and with the Sultan, so that should be fun. This one sort of starts abroad and then ends up back in the UK. So,
Barbara and Tom, it was such a pleasure talking to you both, and congratulations on season 1, and good luck on season 2. Can't wait to see where this adventure takes us all. I learned so much, and it was just really wonderful. So thank you guys.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for taking me down memory lane of what I was doing last year, because it's now a bit of a blur. It's been really fun spending time with you guys as well. Thank you.
Thank you. It was fun talking to you.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Inside the Set with Set Decor. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and visit our website, setdecor.com.